So, I wanted to follow up on the story we covered in Dallas. If you remember, as part of the GoFundMe, thanks to your contributions, I was able to go down to Dallas with Ty. We covered Botham John, 26-year-old African American. He was shot and killed while basically living while black, I think they call it now. He was just hanging in his apartment when a white police officer intruded in on his apartment and shot him dead. That happened on September 6th. So far, they haven't released the 911 call that she made after she shot this poor black man dead. They haven't released her police record, which includes another shooting, her shooting a man in 2017. They haven't released her toxicology report. There's been no transparency. None. So my interviews with Botham's minister, one of Botham's best friends, activists and protesters in the area. I interviewed a councilman, all up. If you click on playlists on YouTube, Botham John, they're all up there. And I'm following up. So we're trying to get an interview with Botham's mother. So we'll see if we're able to do that. Thank you, OTR Tucker, $5 in the super chat. I told you 2 months ago she's running and she's learned nothing when I started seeing her name in potential candidate polls. OTR. In OTR I trust. You were right. So now the family of Botham John, I couldn't blame them, is suing the city of Dallas and Amber Guyger, the police officer. Headline, officer who shot Botham John was dangerous and violent, John's family says in a lawsuit. A lawsuit filed by the family of a man shot inside his own apartment in September by former Dallas police officer Amber Guyger alleges Guyger, quote, showed signs of being a dangerous and violent person. Guyger is accused of fatally shooting Botham Shem John after walking into his apartment on September 6th, mistakenly believing that it was her apartment, according to police. What does that even mean, accused of fatally shooting? She's not accused. She did it. There's no debate. She shot him dead. I don't know why it's written that way. Oh, but we gotta be neutral. We gotta be neutral. We can't state facts. Guyger was off duty when the shooting occurred, but still in uniform after completing her shift. The lawsuit was filed by Allison and Bertram John, Botham John's mother and father, in the Northern District of Texas on Friday. In the suit, the family blames Guyger, the police department, and the city for John's death. That Dallas Police Department said that they cannot comment on pending litigation, blah, 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 blah. The Dallas City Council was not immediately available for comment. John's family says in the suit that Guyger had a history of violence and used excessive force against John, resulting in his wrongful death. The family also says the Dallas Police Department, quote, has a pattern, practice, history, and custom of using excessive force against minorities, and accuses it of not providing proper training or discipline for Guyger when it came to using deadly force. Quote, by simply following proper police procedures and the best police practices and not the protocol of the Dallas Police Department to, quote, shoot first and ask questions later, defendant Guyger would have not shot John, the lawsuit states. Essentially, Officer Guyger was ill-trained and as a result defaulted to the defective DPD policy to use deadly force even when there exists no immediate threat or of harm to themselves or others. Dallas Police Chief Renee Hall and the Dallas City Council are also specifically named by the family, who say they failed to implement policies that would have prevented John's death. The family makes the following accusations against Dallas police in the lawsuit. The Dallas police investigation into John's death, quote, was characterized by bias, partiality, and a lack of thoroughness and or professionalism, specifically designed to ratify the behavior and cover up the misconduct of defendant Guyger. Detectives sought warrants for John's apartment specifically to find, quote, evidence of illegality. Police officers anonymously told media outlets information to try and cast Guyger in the best light and create a narrative in her favor. Quote, on the day of John's memorial, the family says in the suit, media published a warrant affidavit Dallas Police Department investigators failed to seal, indicating drugs and drug paraphernalia was recovered from the home of the descendant, all designed to protect defendant Guyger. The Dallas Police Department, quote, has a pattern, practice, history, and custom of using excessive force against minorities. The department, quote, trains its officers to use deadly force even when there exists no immediate threat to themselves or others. The family also says Guyger showed signs of being a dangerous and violent person based on a prior shooting of an unarmed suspect of color and pictures that Guyger allegedly reposted on her Pinterest account. Posts allegedly from Guyger's Pinterest account are included in the lawsuit. Pinterest is a social media platform where users share images or videos, blah, 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 blah. The quote, I wear all black to remind you not to mess with me because I'm already dressed for your funeral, was saved to Guyger's Pinterest board, quote, love to laugh, the lawsuit says. Another quote by Guyger, quote, people are so ungrateful. No one ever thanks me for having the patience not to kill them. Jesus Christ. Was also saved to Guyger's Pinterest page. Oh, let's thank you for not being a barbarian. He's police. After the shooting, the suit says Guyger was given enough time to scrub her social media accounts. The lawsuit says there were numerous signs that should have made it apparent to Guyger that she was at the wrong apartment. According to Guyger's arrest affidavit, Guyger says she went to the wrong floor. John lived in the apartment directly above hers. Quote, she inserted a unique key door with an electronic chip into a door hole, the affidavit says. The door, which was slightly ajar prior to Guyger's arrival, fully opened under the force of the key insertion. John's red doormat, the illuminated number by the apartment door, and the noise and red light that would have resulted from Guyger inserting the incorrect key into John's lock should have indicated to her she was in front of the wrong apartment. According to the affidavit, that once the door opened, Guyger saw John across the room. She discredited him to authorities. She described him to authorities as looking like a large silhouette because it was dark inside and said she believed he was an intruder. The lawsuit says Guyger drew her gun and began issuing verbal commands to John, who tried to comply by slowly standing up from the couch. Guyger fired her handgun twice and hit John in the chest, the suit says. She called 911 and her attorney as John laid on the floor and, quote, struggled to survive in extreme pain. At no point, the suit says, did Guyger try to perform life-saving measures on John. When John was taken to the hospital and officers arrived on the scene, Guyger was not taken into custody and made several phone calls prior to giving a statement. Wouldn't you like that opportunity if you just killed a man and intruded in some random person's apartment and killed them? At some point, she was allowed to go back into John's apartment. So the person who just killed this man was allowed to go back into his apartment. And they found weed in his apartment. The family is seeking compensation for damages caused by John's death. They are also seeking punitive and exemplary damages against Guyger, quote, to deter this type of conduct in the future. I mean, there's no words. There's no words. This family should get, obviously they would prefer their son. Money doesn't replace someone you love. But this family should get all the money in the world. All the money in the world. Not only should this officer be in jail for the rest of her life, which, as of now, I don't know if that's going to happen because the Dallas Police Department has basically covered up anything about this investigation, if you want to call it an investigation. You're telling me over almost 2 months later? Yeah, November 6th will be 2 months. Why is it that they haven't released the 911 call? Why isn't it that they haven't released her police records, which include shooting an unarmed black man in 2017? Toxicology reports could take a while, but we haven't heard an update. Where is that toxicology report to find out what was in her system? Why don't we have information of what time did she punch out that day? How long did she actually work that day? They say she worked for like 13 hours. Well, prove it. I want to see all of her social media accounts. They need to get a forensic person in there to retrieve everything that she scrubbed. Because I got news for you. Sounds like she was a Blue Lives Matter, police superiority type of person. And basically thought she was doing black people a favor not to kill them. So, that's definitely one of the stories that I definitely, with this GoFundMe, and again, we still need to grow the GoFundMe, so keep it coming if you can. $5, $10, $15, whatever you could do. We really appreciate it. We're definitely going to be heading back there. I mean, there's no media really covering this. And in addition to Botham's case, which is a totally outrageous injustice, could you imagine if you went in, not a police officer, if you just went in to some random person's apartment, for no reason, and shot the person dead? Do you think you wouldn't be in jail right now, awaiting trial? Do you think they would decide it was manslaughter? She's out free right now. She's out free. Like that article said, plenty of time to scrub her social media. They gave her time to make phone calls after she shot this man dead. They gave her time. I mean, you might as well have given her a pass to the spa. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. So we're going to be following up on that. I am trying to get an interview with Botham's mother to show you that. And there's also another case, O'Shea Terry, who was a 24-year-old black man. He was pulled over on September 1st. Him and his friend, O'Shea was driving. They had weed in the car, and a police officer, O'Shea was driving away from the police officer, which he shouldn't have done. Police officer jumps on his car, shoots inside the window 5 times, and kills him. They wouldn't even release the name of the officer for over a month. They finally released the name of the officer, but we don't know what exactly they're investigating. As I've reported before, the Arlington Police Department training says if fleeing or somebody fleeing does not give you the right to kill them or shoot. You are not supposed to shoot at a moving vehicle unless there is a threat to you, meaning they are shooting at you or that vehicle is coming at you. So I've already shown you that officer had zero logical reason to shoot this man dead. So that's another case. He was killed, O'Shea, on September 1st, Botham killed on September 6th.